What I have seen, I think the layout is first class. And to recognize that a student is interviewing me now, I think the professionalism of the program sounds very good. I was in the library and I called the subject. I selected a book, it came up. I selected a topic from that book, it came up. It also showed that this is the what we call transformational education, where you can stay home and be tutored from a centralized institution. This is the way Sierra Leone should go. We haven't gone so yet, but you have started with.
Hello everyone, as you all know, this is Central University Television here, and we are broadcasting live from One Silicon Hills. And I'm sure you already know the personality sitting beside me. He is the Minister of Higher and Technical Education here in Sierra Leone, Professor Tejan Wuri. And he is here today at Central University to have a tour around the university campus. So we'll just have a quick talk with him around activities that you might be wanting to know all this while. Basically, most people know that the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education exists, but they don't actually know the role it plays. So can you tell us the role the ministry was set up for?
The Ministry of Technical and Higher Education is to refocus higher education towards job creation and job market, and to put a lot more premium on technical options. We do so at levels that are equivalent to school level and levels that what you call post-secondary. And this is one institution that has demonstrated how digital education, which is technical, can serve us at the post-secondary level.
Now, coming to one of the things that the ministry is known for doing over the years, one of the famous things is the student loan that was introduced recently for students. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, government initially started with the government scholarship. In the early years, the scholarship is you have to be a scholar. You should have done very well, and then you are sponsored. Later on, that metamorphosed into a grant in aid. In other words, you may not have done very well, but you have passed, and you do not have the means to continue. And then government supports you somehow. That is not a scholarship. It is a supported program or a supportive program. Okay? Even that is becoming quite expansive. The numbers are increasing. You know, last year we had close to 186,000 students attempting the WASC exams. Before then, think back in 2018, only 32,000 took the WASC. Yet in 2022, 186,000 took the WASC. That is a five-fold increase. Government recognized that among that number, there will be a higher proportion that may not be in a position to sponsor themselves to go on. Remember, government is doing free quality school education. The free there is to school, and therefore people should have saved enough to be able to access higher education on their own. But that is not the case. So we started in a new scheme, the student loan scheme, that will allow every student, be it private or public institution, to take a loan, and on completion, you start a repayment plan. To take any loan, there must be some guarantee and some guarantors to start for you. Okay? We do hope that will now allow the large number of people that have graduated from secondary school to be able to access higher education. And higher education does not necessarily mean university education. It can mean technical education, or people that may have graduated can still take a loan and come back and reskill themselves into something a bit more hands-on. So we'd like the public to know that the scheme has started this year. This year we started with PhDs and those of master's level only. We hope to get resource in the next few weeks to expand it to lower level as well. By that I mean undergraduate degrees. And people of Central University do have the right to apply for such loans.
Okay, now there's this fear that's in most students' mind, and it has been like a rumor going around, that is the loan based on like if this person is deserving, or maybe it's like based on favoritism, that it's somehow difficult to get. Some have been complaining about that. So what are some of the processes that some need to go, and what guarantees that it will not be based on favoritism at all?
I wonder why you start to consider favoritism when in fact you have not accessed the loan yet, you've not really applied yet. The question here is, can you pay back? Whoever is signing for you, the person has the means to pay back. That is all there is to it. And we are not prioritizing any cause. You can do social work and apply for the loan. You can do history and apply for the loan. You can do chemistry and apply for it. There will not be any prioritization. With regards to granting aid, there is prioritization of granting aid. We now say in public universities, we support women that are accessing STEAM. I'm not saying a man cannot do physics or chemistry or whatever. We say government says we prioritize women accessing STEAM. We also say people that are disabled cannot be disabled a second time by them not accessing higher education. We would prioritize those. People that are sons or daughters of teachers. Teachers have sacrificed their lives to train us. And they cannot go back and start to struggle on how they can pay for their children. So those are prioritized as well. In the forces, we will train 50, 60 per year, prioritized. The loan does not have those categories. You apply for it, and if you show you can afford to pay back, or you have whoever is standing for you that can pay back, then that loan would be given to you from a public or a private institution.
Okay. Now, I was going through some of the posts on the ministry's website, and I came across a piece which says that the ministry is committed to increase enrollment and retention in the technical and vocational institute by improving existing structures and developing new ones. Now, in this case, like there have been many people, many students, like there have been rumors around that some actually have 6 WAS or even more than that, but one subject prevents them from going to higher institutions. So what has your ministry really done or intends to do about something like that?
Well, you are clear that the university requirement is 5 WAS, including English and all maths. That is the requirement. And if you drop in any of those, more so English and or maths, then you have not matriculated to go to a university. But a university is not the only tertiary institution. You can go into a polytechnic, you can go into a teacher training college, you can go into a TVET institution. So I think the misconception there is that higher education is viewed as university education only. So when that is clear, then you know you have other programs to do. In the university, however, as at last year, we have rescheduled preliminary year for those doing sciences. Again, science and technology. There will not be a preliminary year for somebody doing history or social work if in fact you fail English, which is the best thing you require to do any of those. You cannot do a preliminary year to do law and you have not passed the main tool of a lawyer, English language. I can tell you there are less than 40 students in chemistry department year 1 as I speak. And there are well over, I think, 150 heading to 200 in preliminary year. So by just giving that opportunity, you are going to create a major change in that department. And that is the core for science. If you want to read plant genetics, you have to go chemistry. If you want to read microbiology, you need a chemical base. If you want to do medicine, you need chemistry. So all of a sudden, the bottleneck, the rate determining step, is opened out for there to be many more people to go through the system. So indeed, every college, every university have a criteria, but your focus should not be university. Your focus should be post-secondary education, and you can use that. For example, if you've already got a diploma in whatever in a post-secondary institution, you can be able to use that to go now into a university. You don't have to go back to WASP and take the WASP, the maths, the English. So what we're trying to do in the ministry is to become flexible. We do not want one shoe suits all, one size suits all. We want mature students, we want adults to have various modes and means of accessing higher education. And higher education there means TVET institutions, polytechnics, and or universities as well.
Okay. Now let's come back to your visit here today. You came here for a visit, so you were taking on a tour around the campus. What do you have to say concerning everything you've seen here today?
What I have seen, I think the layout is first class.
Okay.
And to recognize that a student is interviewing me now, I think the professionalism of the program sounds very good. I was in the library and I called subject. I selected a book, it came up. I selected a topic from that book, it came up. It also showed that this is what we call transformational education, where you can stay home and be tutored from a centralized institution. This is the way Sierra Leone should go. We haven't gone so yet, but you have started with, and you are similar to UniTech in many ways. And it is clear that we will all have to learn from you. I do hope you focus mainly initially on Tongolili and then the northern region. And I might as well just use this opportunity to let the general public know that Cabinet has given the authority for Potloko campus of EBK to break out to become an autonomous university in its own right, as the university in the Northwest region, to be called Ahmad Tejan Wuri, University of Education and Technology. It is key for us to focus on education because we need to train teachers for early childhood education, for foundational learning, and for sciences in particular. Teachers in technology as well, including digital technology. And for a country that its resources started off with iron ore along with diamonds, then that college is technological arm will also relate to the mining industry that exists in the Northwest.
Thank you so much for allowing us to have this discussion here today. And I'm sure that the viewers have really learned a lot. Higher education is not just university, there are other aspects joined to it, and I hope that we all understand now that we should not be limited because of one subject or maybe another. So thank you too for being with us, and I hope you have a lovely day.